Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope everyone's having a good week. We had a good weekend and is ready to start their week. So today I wanted to talk about something that's been in the news recently, and on social media, especially Twitter, as Balenciaga's controversial, disgusting, paedophilic ad campaign. Now, Balenciaga, for nobody that knows, is I think it's a Spanish couture fashion house. It's obviously known for its quite outrageous, out there fashion and like footwear and stuff. Um, I don't personally Balenciaga's fashion, like it's not really for me. Like I don't think it's like grungy, trashy stuff, and then you're paying like £1,000 whatever for stuff, and that looks like stuff. I don't know, like it's quite creative in a way, I suppose, but in the same sense, like it's like the fashion. It's not something. It doesn't look beautiful. It's not. You wouldn't look at it and go that's stunning. Like it's quite weirdly made and it's weird shapes and that kind of stuff. But I suppose like everyone's style's different and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Um, but yeah, so they recently just dropped a ad campaign for their teddy bear bag that is aimed towards children, and it's a children's line. And in the photo shoot, I'll post pictures throughout this video as well of the photo shoot. In the photo shoot, it's young children, young girls, young boys with teddy bears. Which you'd think, okay, teddy bears, children, that's harmless. Yeah, it gets worse. The teddy bears are dressed in BDSM fetish gear with like leather cufflinks, harnesses, thongs, like just stuff you would only see in an underground like sex dungeon. Basically, like the teddy bears are dressed like you can imagine, um, and it's aimed towards children, and you think, why would you? Who comes up with that idea? Um, Sorry, my partner's over there on the couch and he's making me laugh as I'm trying not to. Martin, do you want to say hello?
Hello. I'm a bit well.
He's over there farting away.
He did that earlier as well, don't lie.
So yeah, so I'm like, who comes up with these concepts? Like, who thinks, yeah, let's make a kids bag line and let's make it like BDSM bags, like for kids. Like, how warped and messed up in the head would you need to be to come up with that idea and that concept that teddy bear bags dressed in sexy lingerie and BDSM gear aimed towards children? Like obviously in my eyes, I think that Hollywood is filled with that type of stuff. I think they're trying to desensitize us to a lot of like stuff like to do with children. And on top of obviously these bears being dressed in BDSM gear and lingerie and stuff, they also on the table people had zoomed in and noticed that there was a quote or a reference picture of a court case that is recent. I think it was a few years ago. That allowed artistic child pornography, which I know to say that it sounds so messed up, and it is, but it's like basically stuff that it's not actually children, but it's designed in such a way that it should. So it's like I don't, and this is horrible, but it's like the P word, PORN, okay, for instance, videos where women that are maybe just of legal age, like 18, that look really, really young and are dressed really young and are dressed in pigtails and are dressed to look like a maybe 12, 13-year-old girl. Like, that kind of stuff's legal. That's what this was about when it comes to. And why people think that's art or that's art. Like, it makes you think what type of people would want to watch that type of stuff where someone's dressed to look like a 12-year-old girl. And the reason that they get around this is because they say, well, the actress isn't actually underage. The actress in this PORN video is actually 18. she's of legal age. And then you could argue, well, why is she presenting herself in it as a young girl? Why is she dressed in low, like, basically anybody that knows this know, like, Loletta fashion. Like, she's like dressing like a really underage girl because it if for some reason it just is, it's allowed. Which, and this is the paper that was on that photo shoot on the desk on the Balenciaga ad, which obviously says that Balenciaga obviously supports that. Then when it comes to artistic creation, children should be able to be used in a sexual way if it's artistic, which is just so messed up. But obviously, so Balenciaga have got those documents scattered on the table in the photo shoot, and these kids posing with these bears dressed in BDSM, and even the kids, the models that they used in the pictures, the kids are lying and standing in weird positions with like their eyes, like they're dead behind the eyes, as if they look as if they're drugged or something. It's just the whole concept of the photo shoot and the whole. I'll post pictures for this video, as I said. That it's weird. It looks strange. You feel disgusting even looking at it because you're like, what am I looking at? What is this like? And you know, the amount of child actors that end up messed up. You think to yourself, well, why did they end up that way? Drink, drugs. What did they go through as children that made them like that? And it's always the child stars, always. And also, Corey Feldman once said, or is it Corey Feldman or Corey Martin? Who's the one that's still alive? Is it Corey Feldman?
Corey Feldman's still alive, yeah.
Right, it's Corey Feldman. He was a child actor, very big. He once said that the biggest problem in Hollywood's paedophilia. He said the industry's surrounded by it. He said, I didn't realise as a kid how much I was being sexualised and how many of these type of people I was surrounded by. Like getting took to Hollywood parties as a 12-year-old boy, getting took to these mansion Hollywood parties surrounded by these old producers and directors and having to do things. He didn't say what it was, he just said he had to do things in order to get parts in films. And as a 12-year-old boy, and he said there was other child actors at these parties. So if that's been going on in Hollywood since the 80s, 90s, it's certainly still going on now. And these celebrities that all have Twitter fingers that have this huge massive voice when it's to do with something like to do with maybe politics or whatever, they're on Twitter ranting away, like, you know what I mean? But when it's came to this Balenciaga thing, celebrities are silent, especially ones like Kim Kardashian that are basically walking advertisements for Balenciaga. Do you know what I mean? She's not posted anything like standing against Balenciaga or disagreeing with it, like nothing, silent, radio silence. And you think, well, why? You'll speak out against Kanye, you'll speak out against things like the politics, you'll stand up for whatever, but when it comes to this, that their perverted ad campaign that you are the face of, you've got nothing to say about it. It's silent. That just goes to show that obviously these big famous celebrities clearly know what's going on or are involved or just choose to turn the other cheek because I'm rich, I'm famous, I get to do all these fancy things, so I'm willing to turn the other cheek to it. And it's everywhere, and I feel now more and more people are suddenly becoming more awake and more woke to the media and propaganda and are realising, oh my god, wait a minute, there is hidden meanings behind this, there is, you know, satanic or paedophilic messages and things. And because Hollywood's run by paedophiles, and let's just start rhyming off, Disney Channel, I don't know how many, a lot of Disney Channel's producers and directors have either been in jail for paedophilia or have been jailed. So worked at Disney, got caught, were put in jail, or were put in jail before and Disney still hired them. Nickelodeon, you only need to look at what's that guy's name? The heavy guy. Oh God, Martin, do you remember his name?
No.
Uh, it'll come back to me, but it was like it was Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider. He was the creator behind iCarly, Drake and Josh, the Amanda Bynes show, like paedophile. A guy that worked in the Amanda Bynes show was a showrunner, was a convicted paedophile. They still hired him. A director on iCarly, convicted paedophile, still had his job. Like, you think to yourself, what is going on? Why are you hiring these people if they've got criminal record? How are you? It's like they're choosing just to overlook that, and it's the same with Balenciaga. Like, it's just it's just so inappropriate, and I'm sorry, but using kids and putting them in a setting that looks sexual and paedophilic isn't art, it isn't creative, it's just disgusting. There's nothing creative or artistic about it. It's disgusting, and to come up with that idea, whoever sat in the boardroom and come up with that idea, like what was going through your heads? Let's make these sexualized bears and put kids in a photo shoot holding them and lying and posing in weird positions, looking as if they're drugged, and then let's put a paper on the table that stands for kids being allowed to be used in a sexual way if it's for art. Basically, Balenciaga saying we agree with this, we stand by this. What does that say about that fashion house? It's not just Balenciaga; they're all the same. Hollywood is a dark, twisted, evil place. It's satanically run. There's nothing godly about Hollywood. And when you start tracing back, you start to notice that a lot of your celebrities, like actors and singers, they came from families that were rich and famous. They weren't just normal people like me or you that just... Because they want normal people like me and you in on the secret. This is people that are... It's passed along, like Nicole Kidman. Her mum and dad were a director and an actress. Drew Barrymore, the Barrymore family, big acting family. Drew Barrymore at 12 years old has openly said she was being pushed drugs at these Hollywood parties. At 12-year-old, and ended up a drug addict and an alcoholic at 11, and said that it was through grown adults feeding her and supplying her this stuff. Like, who does that? And it's like these celebrities will talk about it, but they don't ever mention any names. They don't mention, they still protect these people because they want to keep their careers. It's just, it's disgusting, and I'm so glad that people, are waking up to it. And Balenciaga released a statement to say that they didn't know that, and they didn't know that was going to be there, and the photographer that was hired to take the pictures has now been fired. And you're like, hold on a minute. The photographers came out and said no, they're putting the blame onto me, but it's a lie. I just showed up, set up the lighting, and clicked away, which is what photographers do. And I'm not a big fashion house or anything, obviously, but I done makeup artistry and hairdressing and hairstyling for 3.5 years, and every Christmas and every like Halloween and stuff, we had to do like mock creative photo shoots. So my one time I done H&M, I done Next, Louis Vuitton. Obviously, I wasn't really working for those fashion houses. You had to pick a big fashion house, and you were basically the creative director behind the photo shoot, the outfits, the models, the makeup, all this stuff. And you're thinking to yourself, no, because it's the creative directors that pick what the makeup's going to be, what the outfit's going to be, how the style, how the layout's going to be. Martin can... He was my model for when I done my H&M one. I picked the outfit he was wearing. I picked the stuff he was holding. I told him how to pose. I picked what colour the green screen at the back was going to be, which was red. I picked that. Picked the outfits for the model. Picked her hair. Picked the way they were to interact. And the photographer, he just clicked away to what I told him to do. Sorry, it was a she. She didn't have any control over anything in that picture. It was me that made it all. So for Balenciaga to turn around and say, oh no, we've fired the photographer. No, Yous are the fashion house. Yous sat in a meeting in a boardroom and
Set designed it.
something's happened to my volume. Sorry guys, I get cut off there, but what I was saying was this fashion house, it's not a photographer that designs that, it's the creative directors, the people that are there that will sit in a meeting and say, okay, this is the idea we have, this is what the look we want to go for, the outfits, the makeup, the set design, all that good stuff. It's not the photographer. Balenciaga have basically released that crap wee statement, putting the blame, gaslighting, well, putting the blame onto somebody else and then gaslighting us, the public, and saying we had no idea about this. Then who's running your fashion house? Who's running these campaigns? Because that's, from the outset, that is a lot of shit. Because that's just simply them passing the buck. I'm sorry, but the buck stops at the top, not the photographer. So that's them just passing along the blame. As usual, Hollywood yet again, pushing paedophilia, pushing satanic messages, pushing these horrible messages through propaganda in our face as the public, as usual, as they do all the time. I'm not, am I surprised at this? No, I'm not. Nah, I know this goes on. If I was 15 or 16, I was like into all this. Like, and it's now other people are now years on are just like, oh my god, wait a minute, I've all, and people used to look at me like I was crazy, like, what's the heck? But no, this shit is real. This is real. This is the world we're living in, and it's good that people are becoming more woke and are actually starting to see it for what it is, which is pushing a satanic agenda. And that is it's as simple as that. And as I said, obviously through this video, I'll be posting pictures and news clips and stuff, so you'll have some visual to look at from what I'm saying as well. But yeah, it's just it's it's not right, and I've not seen much stuff on Facebook or anything about anybody like talking about it. I think there has been on Twitter, um, but not on like Facebook. Like people that I know haven't really been talking about it, and I'm like, we live in a society that loves a good manhunt, that loves to pinpoint something, and then we all bounce on it, we jump on it, we get our torches out, and we nothing with us, nothing. But when it's something to do with something silly like Meghan Markle, people, it's in the news, it's in the paper, it's everywhere. But stuff like this, that's actually that kind of message that Balenciaga's pushing, it's nowhere to be seen. You think to yourself, we are. You think to yourself, why are people not standing against this and making a bigger deal about it the way they do over what of how Meghan Markle, maybe how her body language looked in a picture, like it's so stupid, the stuff as human beings that we choose to fight and stand up against, when really the very people that we love and we aspire to be and we look up to are the very people that we need to be fighting against, and we need to be standing against, and we need to be like, do you know what I mean? Like, these people are not idols, they're not gods. They push horrible messages onto us and fluff it out with, a nice aesthetic or whatever it may be. And but the deeper message, when you take away all the propaganda, all the gimmicks surrounding what they're doing, when you really break it down, the message that they're pushing isn't good. It's not be skinny, take these weight loss pills, take these hair pills, have a little waist, don't dress like this, don't dress like that, get your lips done, get your cheeks done, get your nose done, get your eyes lifted, get your boobs done, get your ass done, get a BBL, get bum shots. It's such a negative, it, like, negative ideal that the public and people look up to and think, oh god, that's great, like, and it's not. There's nothing great about, you know, feeling like you have to change yourself because you saw some beautiful person on Instagram that has had everything done, their ass, their boobs, their nose, men that have had six packs put in, like by surgeons and have their jaws done and all that. Like, these people, it's not real. It's not. People don't come out the womb looking like 6 foot runway models. That is, it's just not the way it is. But we're led to believe by society, by the industry that pushes this propaganda on us, that that is the peak of, you know, the way you should look or your success or whatever it may be. And it's not real. And fashion houses like Balenciaga that push these size 4 dresses and all that, and these skinny models, and you just think it's not healthy, it's not. And then they obviously they push these paedophilic messages, and it's not right. And I think it is time as a society that we stand against it and we start to fight against it. But I think as a society we're comfortably numb, and I think as a society we think, well, it doesn't affect me, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect me directly, so I'm not really going to bother. That's, you know, and that's what that has to change, because when you look at how many kids are trafficked throughout the world, child trafficking is the biggest crime problem that we have in the world. It's not knife crime, it's not gun crime, it's human trafficking. Just go and look at the numbers. It's there to see. Thousands and thousands of kids go missing a day all over the world. Trafficked to other countries, trafficked, you know, and this stuff, the information for this kind of stuff is out there. The numbers are out there. You just need to know what you're looking for. You need to know where you're looking. I watched a documentary recently about it, and it was an eye opener. Martin watched it. He was like, "What the fuck?" Like, he couldn't believe it, didn't you, Martin? It was, it was. How would you put it? It was disturbing, wasn't it?
It's fucked up.
Like babies
Just
being
talking
born
about-
just to be used.
The guy's talking about basically buying an infant, and I mean a 1
That coming at the women, there you
And he
go.
basically, the guy literally pretty much blatantly says he split the weight in half, and if you can decipher what that means, but that means.
Having sex with, yeah, that kind of stuff. It's just it's horrible. But obviously, being I can only explain so much, because it is a rabbit hole, and it's got so many different layers, and you know, you go down the rabbit hole, and you really need to have an idea of what I'm talking about to understand this video. Because if you're coming into this and you're not knowing what I'm talking, you're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to be like, what's he talking about? You know, this kind of content is for people that are into it and know their backstory, know their history, know what their, you know. So I would advise, if any of this isn't making sense, I would advise you go and do your research. It's on YouTube's the best place. It's some stuff on Google. Yeah, you can be called a conspiracy theorist and called, oh, it's just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. But it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But just because it's on BBC News doesn't mean it's true either. It's, it's not, you know, just because it's in the paper or the Daily Mail, it's on the BBC News, STV News, and a newsreader's doing it and telling us this, blah, 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 this is what happened and this is how it happened. That doesn't mean that's real either. That it's BBC. That itself is propaganda. That itself is the BBC have protected, are known for protecting pedos. Jimmy Savile, Gary Glitter, Rolf had. They knew about these people. There was millions of complaints made to the BBC about these people, and nothing was ever done about it. People in the BBC knew what he was doing, but never. They turned a blind eye. Like,
The only one it was done it was Johnny Rotten at the Sex Pistols. He got thrown off the BBC for 30 years because he opened his mouth about Jimmy Savile.
And it just it makes you think, if the people at the top are doing it, what makes you think that the people under them aren't, like the celebrities? If the big bosses that own these companies that these celebrities work for, what makes you think that the celebrity? Do you know what I mean? You have to open your mind and open your horizons and really think about it, and then it all does start making sense. But yeah, that's Balenciaga thing. Like, there has to be some punishment, some repercussions for this ad campaign. Like, the but I have a funny feeling when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's just going to be swept under the rug and say no more, and that's it. And Balenciaga will continue to be a multi-million-dollar fashion house. There'll be no consequences. There'll be no, because they're very, very powerful. The First Lady, Michelle Obama, wears Balenciaga. Like, the politician. It'll be swept under the rug, never to be spoken about again. As Hollywood does. And then as Hollywood says and does, so do we the public. If Kim Kardashian or a big movie star, a reality star, a big famous sportsman or woman says it, then it must be true. And don't be under the guise that it's just celebrities like big sportsmen and all that aren't, because they're very much involved in it as well. Where there's money, there's corruption. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so I'll stop ranting. Anybody that's interested in this, go and check it out on YouTube or go and Google it. There's tons of articles out now about this Balenciaga campaign, and there's other people have made some documentaries, so definitely check it out. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good weekend. I hope everyone has a good week. Stay tuned. I'll be posting more videos throughout the next week or two. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope everyone as well. Like, I got my Christmas decorated. I put my tree up, and also I put some tinsel up and stuff. Say bye, Martin.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. What
Blind.
when I say like I put it all up. Martin just sat there. Well, to tell a lie, see these little white bits? He was just standing, throwing them on the tree, and he's got a broke finger, so he can't do anything. He can't do anything. That's his excuse.
Doctor's office.
But yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Mwah.